Hi guys, welcome to Dr. Homestead. So two queens in one hive. Yep, you heard it right. Two queens in one hive. I'm gonna try to explain this as much as I possibly can. I'm actually somewhat confused about this as well, but I mean, I've assumed something. I'm assuming something. I'm not sure about this. Somebody else actually had ran on YouTube. I was watching this other video after this happened, and it happened basically the same way as well. So at the beginning, I thought this was just a coincidence. However, I'm thinking maybe this may have something else to it. Okay, so let's say, I think it was about 6 months ago. No, not 6 months ago. I'm sorry, 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, I went into a hive and I took a queen out so that it was an old queen and I wanted the hive to replace her. So they started making a queen cell. Or actually, we gave them a queen cell so that they could go ahead and hatch one earlier. And she hatched and she flew off. She left the hive. So we thought, okay, she's going to come back, after she's done with her mating. Well, a little bit, I mean, it went on, and she never came back. Okay? And so I was like, just a week ago, just like last week ago, I went into the hive and I checked the hive and I was like, oh no, they don't have a queen. They're not making one because they can't make one. And so I'm like, oh no, what are we going to do? Well, so I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and go into this strong hive, and the strongest hive that I have, and I'm going to grab a panel of brood from this hive. Now, before I go in any further, I want to say that at this moment, we're actually in the bad season where the season isn't as good. And so it's like we don't have near as much nectar, which is also very bad for like me trying to save this hive. So I'm gonna explain what's going on and hopefully I'll be able to save it. So anyways, so I go into this hive and I'm looking through it and I'd painted this queen, okay? I'd painted this queen. And so I lifted up the brood and I see a queen that hasn't been painted, okay? So now at the beginning I was like, oh man, she rubbed off her paint. And I was like, okay, my dad and my brother was there. And so all three of us saw that that was a queen. Without a doubt, we knew that was a queen. It wasn't a drone. It wasn't a big worker bee or anything. It was a queen, okay? And so I was thinking, okay, so she just rubbed off the paint because I had seen in another hive where the queen was actually able to get most of her paint off. And so I thought, okay, this one was just capable to get it all off and make her really nice and clean. Well, so we got the brood out and put it in the other hive, and the other hive's still open. So I come back and I'm checking that hive because I still have to do stuff with it, like I have to, spray it with some antibiotic because they get some type of sickness here and there, and so you just keep that down. It's in the brood or something, and you got to spray the brood to make sure that it doesn't get this infection. If it does, then it can cause really bad problems for your hive. And so I was doing that, and I'm about to close up the hive. And, I'm about to take my plastic and lay it over because I use plastic instead of wood for my hive. And around here, we don't have to worry about getting it too cold around here. I mean, it can get relatively cold in the night, but it's not like, freezing. So it's fine, you don't need really good protection, insulation in your hives. And so I'm about to cover it up, and I look at the bottom of the back of the hive, and there goes a queen that's been painted. Yes, you heard it, a queen that has been painted. And so I was like, what? I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, we got two queens in here. And so we'd already left the other queen that had not been painted alone. We didn't even touch her. And so I was thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do? At the beginning, I was thinking, okay, maybe they're getting ready to split. But then I'm thinking, no, this hive is not really able to split. What's going on here? And so I didn't really understand this. I was going through a bunch of, I was trying to figure out what to do, and I was thinking, okay, well, one thing for sure, we're going to remove one queen from this hive, and we're going to put in the other queen, we're going to put it in the hive that doesn't have a queen. Well, so we did that. We actually took the old queen because we went back and found the new queen, but we couldn't find her. And so we went back and found her. Sorry, we found her, but we just left her in that hive and took the old queen anyways. So we put her in a cage, put her in the hive, and I put some sugar in there with 2 attendant bees. I should have put a couple more, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I got worker bees instead of nurse bees. Maybe that was the problem, I don't know. Anyways, so I went in there a day after because I was going to check up on her every day and make sure she has sugar in there, and I was going to release her on the 3rd day. Well, the first day came, I went in there without any smoke to check her. She was just you know, squeezed between 2 frames on the top of the hive, so I could easily see her, really easy. Well, she was dead. Now, I took the thing out, I examined her, and it looks like she may have possibly been stung in the abdomen right before she had been, right at the very top of the abdomen. It looks like I saw a sting mark there where like a stinger may have broken off in her abdomen, and so maybe a bee stung her. Got a mosquito going around me. And so that was the only thing I can assume myself. So I was kind of like, okay, well, the only hope is that maybe they'll make a queen. So I went to town to get on the internet and just search around for that, and started looking on it, and I saw that it happened exactly the same to somebody else. So I was like, you know, where like this hive has 2 queens, and then this hive doesn't have a queen. And so I was thinking, and the guy was even putting pieces together, saying maybe possibly this queen for some reason got turned around and went to this hive. The problem with that is I don't even know if this is case or true, but they would reject her since I mean, if they've already got a queen, they're going to reject her and they're going to sting her to death. I don't see how that would work. It may be possible, definitely possible, especially if there's more cases like this that happen, that it's always the case. You never have a time where this hive has 2 queens and all the other hive have a queen. Then yeah, maybe that's not the case. However, if it's always the time where this hive doesn't have a queen and this hive has a queen, it has 2 queens, then that may be the case. There may be something going on there. Like when she comes back from her mating, somehow she gets turned around and goes to that hive, but I don't know how she gets past the pheromone or something like that. Don't have any clue how this works, but I'm just trying to share with you the thing. And also one more thing I want to mention real quick is that they didn't have any queen cells in there. There was no signs of any queen cells in the hives the last time I checked before this happened, and the time that I went in there where there was any hatched. I looked and I was like, there's no hatched queen cells in here. There's nothing. There's not, yeah, I know they sometimes destroy them, but you're going to see something, at least something, where, okay, there was a queen cell there or something. There was nothing at all. They weren't planning to split. And so that was a little confusing as well. So also I want to do another thing with the hive that I was talking about that didn't have a queen. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to save it. I'm trying to save it. They've gone too long without a queen. It's been six weeks or something. I mean, maybe even 7 or 8. I mean, it's been a little bit. So basically, they're making a queen. But here's the thing. So they haven't seen a queen in, like, you know, a long time. And probably even the generation that is there now was laid by the queen, but wasn't there when she was there. Like, they hatched after I took her out. So that's probably all that's there. And then there's drones, of course, because the worker bees can pitch in laying eggs, but they're not going to be fertile, which means they'll be drone bees. So they're pitching in laying eggs so that they can keep the hive warm as much as possible until the new queen emerges. And so I gave them a frame of brood to make a queen on it. Are they making a queen? Yes, they are. They're making 3 queen cells. Here's the thing. I don't know how this works, but anyways, they haven't seen a queen, like I said, in a long time. I went in there to check it, and you're thinking, okay, well, all the queen cells are going to be on the frame that you put in there, right? Wrong. I don't know how this happened, but there's only one queen cell on that frame that I put in there. All the other queen cells are in different places in the hives, and they do have a queen egg in there. They do have royal jelly. They do have a queen egg in there. I see them in there. I look in there. Okay, there's a little queen egg. I can see it. But how did they get in there? Can they somehow carry eggs over to another panel? I don't know if they can do that. And if they did do that, what's the incentive for that? Anyways, if you got questions, if you got explanations or reasons maybe that this stuff occurred, I'm a little confused in the bee business. I don't understand how it's possible that the queen from one hive can go out to mate and then come back to another hive and be accepted. I don't know how that's possible. For me, at least, I'm like, how is that really possible? Because you put a new queen into a hive, they kill her. You know, that's what they do. You know, that's why I put her in a cage, because if I just introduce her right in the hive, boom, she's dead. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Interesting video, I guess. Weird video. Didn't really understand it. Just thought I'd put something up there to say, you know, hey, this is the reason. This is what's going on with my bee business. You know, I'm not stopping on that. It's just a little confusing, but I'm going to still continue with the bee business. Okay, one thing I want to say is that I'm not going to have an update video for the garden this week since I'm a little behind in the garden. So that's that. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure to leave a comment below if you've got an explanation on why this may be why this happened. Make sure you give it a like. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And then check me out on Patreon if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the description for that one. Okay, like, subscribe, become a patron. Make sure to comment below. I'll see you next time on Ecuador Homestead.